it looked like a dream deal until the numbers started working against them.
Oh, wow. What happened?
Yeah. I mean, oftentimes when we talk about real estate, right? Like we've always said over time, there are intricacies into this thing, right? And it's a game of numbers.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm sure you remember that before we got into the just behind the scene, we're speaking about so just looking at the numbers in the market and what's happening. And then I asked you a question, I showed you a property, and I asked you, what do you think is going to go for?
For the detached property in Durham region, I said it would go for 950.
I think you haven't been very fair. I think you're not being sincere because you wanted to play fast.
I'm always being sincere,
right? Now, this is a catch. Mm-hmm. The market is down, no doubt about that.
Yeah,
and I mean, people are losing numbers. Clearly, straightforward number. I had a client we were speaking 2 days ago, and it was asking me, what does the number look like for me? And I was so honest to say, you're 200K down from your property. It was bought like 2 years ago.
What kind of house was it?
It was a semi-detached. Now, and it was so easy for me without even going into CMA, right? Without doing any comparative analysis. All I did was just look at what the was selling for in that area. And that was why I asked you that question. How much do you think a 4+3, 4 bath?
4-bedroom, 3-bedroom basement
will go for? Now, people get the whole idea of the basement, rental property, rental value, right?
Yeah.
And property sold for 860. Now, guess how much you bought his own property? Semi-detached.
For this same person?
Yeah. No. Yeah, the same person.
He probably bought it for... What year did he buy?
He bought it 2 years ago.
2 years ago, that would have been 2023. Semi-detached. Where's it located?
Whitby.
In Whitby? 920.
Let me save you 1 million.
1 million?
Yeah.
For a detached property?
Yeah.
For a semi-detached property?
Semi-detached.
Don't you think it was overpriced on day one?
I mean, absolutely, for sure. But that was what the market was looking like. I mean, almost everyone that bought 2 years ago, they bought at overpriced. Straightforward.
Not overpriced. They bought it at what?
I mean,
at the price of the market at that time.
But now, like I said, the numbers is catching up with them.
Yeah.
And it was overpriced. Because for me, it was the straightforward numbers. If it detached, 4, 3. Now, this is a 3+3.
So basically 3-bedroom on the upper floor.
Yeah.
So let's explain that to the viewers.
So the
3-bedroom
semi-detached
on the upper floor and 3-bedroom in the basement.
Yeah. So no. The semi-detached is a 3-bedroom.
Okay.
So three room, then 3 bath.
Okay.
Unfinished basement.
Okay.
Okay. Beautiful, brand new. I guess it probably was bought at pre-construction.
Right. So they bought it.
They bought it 1 million. Now the numbers are, if a detached 4+3, 4 bath, is selling for 869, and you bought
a semi
3+.
Again, depends on the age of the detached property. That's 869.
Okay, to be honest with you, who really cares so much about that?
It matters. It matters to an extent.
So once you do your certification, verification, inspection, and the house is in good condition, the bones, the teeth, everything is fine. Bathrooms renovated, looking good. I don't really think, the age of the property really matters. Because at the end of the day, when you talk about age of the property, 2 things come into play. Design and structure.
But then the semi-detached property, assuming, like you said, if they brought it brand new, it's a new property. Let's say 0 to 5 years old, for instance. Now, that property, it won't necessarily sell lower than like 850.
Yeah.
It won't necessarily, because it's a new property and people feel like, okay, you know what? Property still has time to appreciate. It has like it would have been different if both properties were like the same age. Maybe they were both built, let's say in the 1980s or something.
Yeah.
Then definitely it might sell lower than that, because like, okay, what's the difference between both of you? But yeah, I was just talking just about the power of leverage.
I think we're going to have that conversation again some other time about the importance of how important is the age of a building, of a property is. I take a different position.
So what's your position?
My position is very, very clear. I'm not so caught up on the age. Like I said, as a matter of fact, you and I, if you can remember, we had a guy who is a builder and told us that even properties that are built older properties, they're stronger than the new ones that are bought now.
Yeah, it's possible, yeah.
In Hamilton, if you remember, the guy said so. That even the property, and the guy was showing us architectural design, was showing us the bones, was showing us everything. And you and I could say, okay, I mean,
but it's easy to say that because he's in the industry. I mean,
Exactly.
as opposed to a consumer
so
looking
for
at
me,
it from
which is why I'm saying that I take a different position.
because you're a practitioner. That's
Exactly.
why. For someone that's thinking that I want to live in a new house, they don't want an old property.
But that's what is being sold to people, and that's what I'm saying. I really don't care about for my clients. Okay, I'm not so caught up on how old the property is. What I care so much, number one, like I said, the bones. When I mean the bone, I mean the architectural structure.
Right.
Everything is fine. So if I was to bring an homeless person into this house, they will check everything is perfect. Okay, the foundation is solid. All the edges are good. The structure is fine, perfect, no damage, doesn't look almost broken, solid. Property you're buying that is brand new, also solid.
So it's still the same thing. Yeah,
Which is why I said the key difference is the design. Maybe what you could sell differently is
the layout of
the layout, or the
property and
design is
everything,
modern,
right.
and all those things. It looks architectural. They're using brick. I mean, whole houses kind of have like vinyl. The newer ones are kind of like they look more beautiful, aesthetic wise, structural. They look beautiful. That's the only thing for me. Because what does it really matter if I have 4 brand new bathrooms that were renovated, and yours is brand new, mine was recently renovated, 4 brand new.
So technically, yeah, they are both new in that sense.
We're going to have another topic on that, where we're going to talk about the details around, because again, this is the kind of thing, like you said, that people get caught up on.
And then
People are being sold up on this thing.
Again, I feel like when it comes to the age of the property, people just have their preference. I want a new property. Now, maybe when you have this conversation with the buyer or the prospective buyer or vendor or whatever, they can now
give those insights, show them the reasons why.
You know what I want. So I don't think people have an issue per se with the age of the house, as long as it looks new. For instance, the house in Hamilton. So if you go inside and it doesn't give the feel of being
I literally
old.
sold the house to everybody.
Yeah, it doesn't give the feel of being old, then you would love it. So that's just the moral of the story.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's go back to today's topic, right?
Yeah.
From dream house to debt.
I was listening to a message earlier this morning,
Right.
and was talking about when I was driving on my way to Hamilton this morning, and the person was saying, people talk about I have a dream. So wake up, wake up. When will you ever stop becoming a dream? When do you need to get into reality? So which is why I'm back to what you're saying. The topic of today is how a dream home became a reality when the numbers wasn't hard enough.
Numbers kick in,
Yeah.
In fact, I feel like that word dream home has put a lot of people in trouble.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because and I think it goes with everything. In a lot of things in life where we just have this perception of how something should be.
Yeah.
And if we're not careful, that perception can basically, it can, not to use the word delude, but it can delude us, and then we take actions that and end up putting us in trouble, or putting a real estate buyer or seller in a lot of trouble. And so I think the first thing we need to talk about is let's look at it from a perspective of the power of leverage. Like I was talking before we started the podcast today, power of leverage. We need to understand that real estate it's a leverage game, in the sense that you're buying an asset that's worth, I guess, say 500,000 for instance, right? And you can put down as little as 5%, which is 25,000. Now that's leverage. That's on your side, because with just 25,000, you can own a $500,000 asset.
Yeah.
And if the market does well, you stand the chance to make maybe an extra 50, 100, 200,000. Meanwhile, and you only put down 25,000. So that's leverage working for you. At the other end of this of the scale is that leverage can also work against you.
For sure.
And I think that's the part that we don't talk about as much, in the sense that you buy a property and you put down 20% down. You put down 100,000 on the property you bought for 1 million, for instance, like that person. And you bought it for 1 million, but now the market has dropped by 200,000. You're basically negative 100.
Absolutely.
And you've been paying a mortgage for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Now, so that same leverage has now worked against people. And so real estate, please. And that is why. In fact, that is the whole essence of this podcast. Because I'm always imagining, how do people are losing 500, I don't know about those 500. People are losing 50,000, 60,000, 70,000, or homes that they've paid a mortgage on for the last 3 years, and then it goes into foreclosure.
Yeah.
What happens to all the mortgage you've been paying?
Let me give a good example. I mean, so when you see us share insight like this, they're practical. right? We're not just speaking, book knowledge. The kind of things.
This is real.
There are
this
things
is
we
real
encounter
life.
every day.
Yeah.
When we speak to people, you're like, how come? And for some, you hear good testimonies like, oh, wow, you made a good decision. Like the
Yeah.
guy that just bought our client that just bought in Hamilton.
Yeah.
For everyone that I've told, let me just give you an insight clearly. A property was sold for 747, thereabout, right? Prior to that, they were living, their former rental property was like 2,800 was what they were paying. They bought a property 747, finished, 3-bedroom, basement, 1 bath. Right? Mortgage, property tax, everything comes about 3,800. Sounds cool already, right?
Yep.
Now, the basement was leased out at 1,600.
So that's the 3.6. Yeah, down like
2,200.
2,400.
When I sat with the guy over there and I said, how much are you paying in mortgage? He said, the guy never even thought about it. He said 3,800. I said, okay. How much are you paying in your former house? He said 2,800. I said, okay. The rental we just got for you, that we just got leased out. How much are they paying? He said 600. He says, what does that look like? I said, oh, wow.
So that means he's basically paying the exact same amount.
We're paying 2,200. No. Even less. Clearly they're already
Like
making
property
profit.
taxes and insurance and everything.
Which is why I said 3,800. Is what they're paying.
Oh, that was all in. That wasn't just the mortgage.
Yeah, all
Oh,
inclusive
got you,
on
got
a
you.
monthly basis.
Okay, got you. Okay.
So now they are net 600 already
Wow.
in this market. Speaking about the same leverage,
But it's this market though. It's this market.
which is why I literally can go on my knees and even scream at people's hair. If you're thinking of buying a property, some people are still waiting that it's going to go down.
But what if it does?
No, I'm preaching already.
Nobody
So people are
knows.
still dreaming that it's going to go down. And what's going to happen with them? While they are wishing that it goes down, the market begins to react differently.
But then think about it this way. But then I think like buyers and sellers have trust issues with real estate agents.
Absolutely.
Moving forward.
Today I was telling
moving forward because we
The
had
feeling is
always,
about-
we had always said and let me give a caveat to this. I know we had always said now is
the best time to buy.
Now is what is the best time to buy? Now is the best time to buy. What real estate agents always say. As a point that said, see yourself there.
But you know, on our last episode,
We explained what we meant by that.
explained what we meant by that.
And let's say here to support understand. When I say now is the best time to buy, or when we say now is the best time to buy, buying real estate has to be a you thing.
Yeah.
It's individual to you and
Absolutely.
your family.
Absolutely.
We don't individual to your financial situation. It's individual to your income and everything. So the first step is always have a sit down, like a doctor, right, that is trying to diagnose a patient. Have a sit down, can figure out where are you in this journey. And like Joe always says, you might decide that you know what, even though you want to buy, you have a desire to buy, we don't feel this is the best time for you to buy. And that might be the conclusion from that first sit down that we have. And it has happened before. But sometimes people are caught up with, I want to buy, and they still jump in and do what they have to do. And then things like this now happen.
Yeah. And I think it all comes from the fact that, people don't get to sit down to really work with you and create that number sheet for you, right? Because as much as we say it's a good time to buy, now, yesterday, tomorrow, it all boils down to the numbers. It boils down to the market insights. What kind of economy are we currently? Because a different kind of economy. There's a hyper-growth economy. There's a growing economy. There's a stable economy.
There's a depressed economy.
There's a depressed economy, right? And all of this economical situation does have their impacts on the illicit markets.
It does. I mean, people were. I feel like. I mean, not to dive too deeply into politics, but I don't think people really understood the impact of the whole tariff situation.
No.
Bro, their foot is on Canada's neck, like literally. Like it's not even, and it's not resolved. You get like it's their foot
Just
is on their
again
neck.
there.
And it's like I'm hoping it comes to a conclusion soon because Canada is feeling it.
Really, really hot.
Canada's feeling, and they can't really do much in terms of reducing interest. And this is why they are so
Very careful.
They are very, very careful with the interest because what they don't want, in my own opinion, is they don't want to reduce the interest rates.
Create unnecessary artificial economy.
And then the US doesn't back up and they keep pushing. And they've already, because once they pull that lever, there's no going back.
Yeah.
If your prices inflate and then still incomes are low, people lose jobs and all those things. So it might be, so now they're just watching, they're just trying to be patient. Once that thing is resolved, it will give us a clearer picture.
as to where the
as to where
economy is headed.
where economy is headed.
Yeah.
But now that uncertainty is just putting a lot of pressure. And that's why prices just keep falling. And who knows? Maybe they are doing it intentionally.
Yeah, and just to, for us to stay on track. So I was speaking to the person today, and she was saying, agent, don't call me an agent. I don't want to be called an agent. No. I don't offer an agent service. We don't offer an agent service. We offer a bespoke service.
Talk your talk.
I mean, we just sit with you. We just don't. I mean, people call me. Someone said, "I like your approach to real estate." I mean, you speak very intelligent. I said, I wrote 6 exams, for crying out loud. I didn't just walk into RICO and just got a certificate. I sat down. I mean, that's like 3 years.
You studied.
That's a degree.
A degree.
If I was doing a PhD, I'm halfway done. Just to become a licensed.
Okay, I'm glad you said halfway because I was saying PhD is a different.
I'm halfway done. I'm halfway done. Right. So when we speak to people, we're not speaking from a place of buy and sell.
Right.
You're speaking about investment. It's about this. We're talking of $1 million, 500,000 property, 1,800,000 property. We got to sit down with you and work numbers right.
I was talking to an agent today. It was about a condo.
Yeah.
So I was telling him about that condo. I was telling him, that there are holes in the wall, right? Holes in the wall and everything from the previous person that lived in the apartment. He's like, what's the big deal? Holes in the wall. That can't the person buying just fix it?
So you can see the mindset.
Exactly. I'm like, someone is buying a $500,000 condo,
and you just
want to give it's just holes in the wall. Okay, then you fix it.
You know why? You know why it's like that? They kind of make it look like 400K, 500K is just like it's just nothing.
That's a lot of money.
So therefore, you just can't just take it up like either you want it or not. But unfortunately, I feel that people are beginning to have options.
Yeah,
people are beginning to know what really matters to them. Someone can easily back out for just something as little as that.
Yeah, because you can get the same condo across the street that doesn't have anything on the wall.
And I feel as professionals, we need to appreciate people's finances, people's impact, because this is people practically putting their finances
money.
On the line. They could get foreclosed. They might never get to own that house if the number doesn't make sense.
They're the ones basically taking majority of the risk. So
it makes sense that we sit down and do like a real job. Like we're talking about, I'm over leveraging, right? People don't really know what it means to renovate a property. People don't know that you could over leverage, you could over renovate
and end up losing money. And funny enough, this same agent I was talking to was telling me that he was talking to actually it's a different agent. He was talking to somebody and he told the guy, this is not the market to renovate. And even if you have to renovate, you need to renovate strategically.
Yeah.
There are renovations that are strategic and they're just renovations for the sake of renovating. For instance, now, if you own a home, unfortunately, and then you think, not unfortunately, but if you own a home and you think, okay, you know what, I want to add, let's say, you want to add like a deck or something to your property. A deck is good. A deck is not a bad idea, but the question is would that be valuable to people in this market, especially if you're in a townhouse? A deck in a detached property is different from a deck in a townhouse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because a deck in a detached property, there's like a side entrance to the property, so it makes sense. A deck in a townhouse,
it's all enclosed.
There might be other things you can do. For instance, if you have carpets, I'll say focus on your floors first.
Yeah, the things that are interior.
Move from carpet to laminate or hardwood flooring. Change from old lights to
new light, pot lights. Take off the popcorn.
Do you understand? If you need to open up the living room so it's more like open concept, maybe you need to do that, right?
Yeah.
The deck is nice to have as well, but then the deck is also depends on what's the quality of the deck. Are you putting like rod, like
this kind of beautiful
rods,
kind
exactly,
of deck,
and all that. At the same time,
just like mine, right? Is that what you mean?
Why are you bragging? Because your deck is lovely. Anyways, so that, and then also it can also be maybe putting something like, maybe do you want to put like patio stones or whatever?
Patio stone, yeah.
So things like that. For instance, someone might be like, oh, I don't like the grass. I want to change everything to stone. That's a waste of money.
Yeah.
That doesn't really, because someone might come to the house and be like,
and they prefer it in grass.
Exactly.
And that limits their options.
Meanwhile, you spent almost maybe 35 to 40K just putting patio stones, paving your entire backyard. Now you've lost money. Because when you sell, the market is not the same. So anyways.
So I think for me, I mean, as we wrap up, is people should be very intentional when they're buying. And emotions, it's not about emotion right now. It's really so much about the numbers. Because, like we spoke in the last episode, every property is an investment.
Yeah.
The how is what really matters.
Whether or not you think of it that way,
it is. It's the how and the timing that really matters. We spoke about how someone could, start getting the reward of the investment sooner than someone else, depending on the timing as to when they bought property, right? But again, it comes to the numbers, right? Looking at what's happening right now in the market, I think it's giving people more reality to see that when you're buying a property, beyond emotion, you need to sit down with a professional that doesn't just want to get commission from you, but really want to ensure that you're buying something that really makes sense to you.
But how do they know? If I'm playing angel's advocate, how does someone know if someone just wants to commission or people, the agent is genuine?
So that's speaking to you with numbers. That's speaking with clear data, giving you market insight.
Or just work with us to make it simple.
Pulling data from the past few years as to what has happened and looking at, and beyond just the real estate, giving you a full economic view to know where we are and how we can go forward. So let me give a good example. I was speaking to someone over the weekend, and he bought he bought a detached pre-COVID, just before the COVID.
Oh, he's up.
For about 500,000.
He's up.
Semi-detached.
He's up.
Now, when I asked him, how much equity, how much are you holding on the mortgage? And I think he bought it for about, about 400, 600, thereabout. I said, how much are you holding? He said he's holding like 400. Now, the market value is almost about 850. Now, cool, almost about 400K.
400 in equity.
A little bit shy 400 equity.
So that's somebody that should consider moving now.
Exactly. And now he's trying to buy. Now, this is what I'm going to when we started speaking about the numbers and the insights in which what we offer. And he said, I said, so what do you intend to do with that 400 if we were to get the 400 out of the house?
Because it's just dead equity.
To put it into the other property. He said, I'll probably put in like about 300 or 200. I want to have some cash at hand. And I'm like, okay, why do you want to have some cash at hand? Do you have any major projects? He just said, no, I just want to have some cash at hand to invest in other, instruments. And I'm like, okay, let me walk you through some numbers. And he said, okay, so he said, if you're sure we do. I said, okay, for me, if I was in your shoe, I'm going to dip in that whole 400K into what I'm buying. Because, for example, so we ran through a few numbers. You're buying a detached now for like $1 million. We even went extreme.
Okay.
If I put in 400K, what I'm getting from the bank is 600,000.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I already have an equity of 400K. Okay. If the market was to peak just a little, right? I'm over the roof already. Listen to me very carefully, and you see where it makes sense. I said, but what happens to you? You now have, in your income, you are more liquid. Because if you're earning like 12,000, it's a very, he earns pretty well. So if you're earning like 12,000 a month, for a house of 600K that you're holding in the bank, mortgage will be probably more
like 3,500, 4,000.
Probably, even less than that. Probably about,
depends on the interest rate, maybe at 4%.
Yeah, probably a little bit. Probably going to be paying maybe about 2,900, 3,000, 3,200, 3,400 at a max. Let's say 3,400. I said, what's happening to you is now you're more liquid in your income. Because if you take away 12,000 from 3, probably having about
8K.
8K.
Is the person married?
Yeah. Which is
kids?
Yes. So I said, so let's be another 2K. Probably liquid almost about 6K every month. So the difference is that's 6K now. Don't forget you have to it's already liquid. Because the house of 1 million, you're down to 600, you're holding the bank. Okay, so you basically have 400K equity on the house. Do you get what I'm saying? Which if we were to walk to the bank right now, based on the value property you bought in the market,
right,
you'd be getting like 400K equity. But let's even leave that for now. Because you're buying at a very low time when the market will peak. Okay, in another 1 to 2 years.
So that detached property can still go to like 1.1, 1.2. Yeah, so but then
you are still liquid.
But that strategy works for him because he's liquid.
That's what I'm saying. But
if you're
going to buy us at 1 million right now, you have to be liquid in your income.
Yeah,
you need to qualify heavy. You need to be earning pretty well to be able to buy a house at 1 million. If you do the income multiply by 5.
True.
I agree. So my analysis to him is now to tell you the kind of service we offer. It's not okay, let's just go buy. Okay, let's go buy. Okay, let's just go sell. Is sit down, analyze to them, show them clear insight, let them see. And the guy was like, this guy is a financial analyst. He's a senior guy in finance. And was like, guy, you're speaking real numbers. I said, that's what we do. We're talking about economy. The guy was like, Joe, but like when you do become an economist, I said that is what is all about this job. So don't look at me as a realtor who just goes around carrying folders or I don't know what people think about us.
Yes, carry folders.
Right? But when we got into pretty much inside the car, for about I was going to church. For about 45, the guy was like, this makes a lot of sense. No one has ever spoken to me like this. Really should
think of it holistically.
Really give to me a better picture. And the guy was like, I think this makes a lot of sense. So we're having conversations, right? My point is, there's a value you can create to people in any kind of market you find them. And that's really so much about understanding the value of what they're getting, being empathetic with them, basically training and teaching people.
Understanding their situation.
Which is how we spoke about. Right. People over leverage, people buy property and they want to just flip it all around. They don't even consider the cost of flipping. They don't consider the market value of flipping the property. And one thing I want to share with people, if you want to flip a property, make sure that you can see a comparable of what you're trying to mimic. Yeah. Right. And you need to know how much, look at what we spoke about. So think about a property that's sold at 1 million in your area, for example. Right. And then you can see that they have the same style and you want to get your property to that same standard to sell for that same price. That's a very clear way of leveraging.
And also it can be property that sold last year.
No, you need to use a very 6 months. It has to be a recent a range of about 6 months. Yes, like worst case 3 to 6 months to look at it.
In this market, I'll say 0 to 3 months.
Yeah, because things are changing every day.
Things are changing rapidly, very quickly, right?
So with that kind of strategy now, you're going to be leveraging properly because you're not over renovating. You're renovating with a strategy in mind, picture of a value. Because when banks are trying to give you the money and doing their own appraisal, they're also looking in that same neighborhood. Yeah. Everybody has access to the same data for the most part, right? So they're looking at that same data as well. So if you're over renovating and there's no clear, and in fact, don't be the first in an area to renovate really if you're thinking of flipping. Yeah. So for those that want to buy right now, that want to sell right now, you need to sit down. Don't just take the market is low and then you just want to jump. You need to sit down. Have a clear strategy. There was someone, I had to build a strategy for them, which was about, the situation was very clear. They needed to go for a pre-construction. Because right now, the property they bought is pretty very low. So selling now doesn't make any sense. They'll probably be at negative, right? So it makes sense
hold on to it
to allow them to leverage a pre-construction, right? And then why they're able to build enough equity within the next 2 years.
Pre-construction is so slept on right now because it's actually, for a lot of people, that's the strategy that makes a whole lot of sense right now.
But if I tell you what's happening with
current property,
if I tell you why people are scared of pre-con, do you know why? People are so scared of pre-construction right now.
Why?
It's a notion of, what's happening? People having foreclosure. People not able to close. People not able to.
But think about it. The pre-con market is thinking 2-3 years ahead.
Yeah.
They're looking at this market to set their pricing, but their target is not this market.
But the problem is that was the same strategy people were sold at.
In what sense?
To say that you are buying against the market, 3 years projection.
Oh no!
So I spoke to someone today.
It depends on who they start with.
And that was what she said. She said,
okay.
"Oh, is that not what they said? That you are buying against the market, and now I know people that cannot close their property." And I'm like, "That's why."
But again, like we said this before. What is your exit strategy before going in?
Yeah.
If you are buying a pre-con, you need to understand how you're exiting from, how you're going to close on it.
Yeah.
From the day you sign the dotted lines.
Yeah.
It's not about guesswork. It's not, speculation is not a strategy.
People speculate a lot.
It's a strategy. It's like, we will assign. No. What if nobody wants to buy the assignment?
People speculate and they tell you it's going to go up.
It's going to go up. How do you know?
What's the business? What gives you that information? It has to be from somewhere. You need to have clear insight as to know why it's going to go up. So I think so people are kind of scared with pre-con because we have a lot of people that cannot close. People have friends, family, colleagues who are grinding and complaining.
And again, it depends. What were they buying? Are these condos or are we talking houses? Because people are still closing on houses.
Yeah.
If you say condos are not closing, then I can.
No, I think it's really about the timing when they bought and the amount. Like we said, we have people that someone buying in Semita for 1 million. So only God knows what that person also bought. Maybe they bought a townhouse for 1.2.
Wow.
So it's really, so people are kind of scared with pre-con right now, because of not being able to close, and that's because people don't understand. Oh my God, there's a strategy as to when to buy. It's not every time you buy pre-con. People talk about some. It's not every time you buy pre-con. It's not every time you buy pre-con.
Builders are offering like a lot of incentives right now. They're offering to finish your basement. Things that normally you would have to pay out of pocket. Builders are offering that right now.
Yeah.
Finish your basement. We'll give you 9-feet ceilings. We'll give you all the air. At some point, they were taking out air conditioners in properties. Now they put it back in.
Yeah, you see 50,000 discount on these fire alarm system. Security features
and everything.
So many things people are willing to offer. Yeah, but which is what I'm saying that for pre-con, maybe probably going to find a time and really, really open it up. You need to time it. It's not every time pre-con makes sense. Do you agree with me?
Again, it's hard. I don't want to be generic to say yes because it depends on the person that is buying it. Again, that person's situation.
Okay.
So for that person, might be the right time to buy pre-con. For that
No,
person, for that particular person.
my question is, okay, let's wrap it up with this. I'm going to ask you the question. Is pre-con good at all time?
No.
See you on the next episode.
Why are you leaving them hanging now? Tell them why.
No.
Stay
tuned. Stay tuned to us.
The YRJ podcast.
We're going to be talking about this on the next episode because people don't know. Which is why I'm asking you again. Is pre-con?
No.
Is every time you buy pre-con?
No, not every time, no.
Okay.
No.
Do you want to find out why? Join us on the next episode. It's still your YRJ podcast with Joe
And Nasser.
Have a wonderful day.
Thanks for joining today, guys.